logo, how we get it sent over to the guys, what it comes back looking like.
You have to be about it all the time. Awesome. I really had a good time.
You too, bro.
Okay, today we've got a special one for you. If you're interested in the fashion, the jewelry business, the clothing business, or operating as a business in Australia, then this is a great podcast to listen to. We interviewed Samuel Morison, who owns Collective Original. He's a brilliant person to talk to. We had a fantastic chat, and I'm not going to waste any more of your time. So buckle up, take some notes. You're listening to the Flight Path podcast.
Indeed, it was terrible.
Okay, cool.
All right, let's ride. No,
let's ride, man.
Get a warm up. You ready?
All right, okay.
Give me one thing. Woo! Let's go. Woo! Yeah, there we go. All right, we're ready to rock. Okay, cool.
Yeah. You're gonna film it.
Are we doing it again? All right, is that what we're doing?
All right, ready? Just warm it up.
Let's go.
All right, okay.
Our neighbors hate us.
Yeah, legit.
But you're in your last day, so
You're right.
Exactly. All right, cool. Let's ride.
Oh man.
All right, back in action. Melbourne, day 7, I think, something like that. And now I'm here with Sam, who owns Collective Original, the man, the myth, the legend. I want to hear all about your story. Let's introduce yourself.
Sweet, man. Well, my name's Sam. Sam Morison, originally from New Zealand. Been in Australia for 7 years now. So pretty much just grew up in New Zealand, moved all over New Zealand, back and forth. Dad was the typical farmer, you know how it is, yeah. And then moved down to the South Island. Long story short, left home real young. So I left home when I was 15, moved in with a girl at the time. She was a lot older. We were together for a while. And then pretty much, we kind of fell apart. I left school quite early at 15 as well. Started living with her. Things didn't work out. We broke up. Yeah. Then I kind of just went on my own journey, moved out of home. Already said, fuck you to my parents and all that sort of shit, right? At that time, you think you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like, I'm on my own. Then I was homeless for about 2.5 weeks because I didn't want to move back home. Because I already said I know what I'm doing to my parents. And then obviously moved in with this girl and it didn't work. So then I just traveled around couch surfing, lived in my car for a bit. And then finally moved into a few different houses and was just back-to-back house hopping for a long time. And then eventually decided to move to Australia. Moved over to Australia, lived with another friend, his sister's boyfriend and their baby, and was living with them for a while. And then found a job in the city doing commission-only sales. The old fucking, what was it, the charity sales on the street. Excuse me, before you go, I've got to, That was me. That was my life for a while. And then I moved over to England when I was 19, lived in England for 2 years, did real estate, and then came back to Australia and I went into IT. And then literally was just thinking in my head, I was like, with Collective Original and how it even became, it was never called Collective Original. It's actually a funny story, but I wanted to create a brand that was surrounded by the things I love the most. And so when I grew up, when I was younger, I danced a lot. So I danced for about 6 years. Funny enough, not in hip hop, it was in salsa.
Yeah. I love salsa.
So I was in salsa. Yeah, I know. It's fucking seeing you've been jamming. I see your Instagram. So I did salsa and hip hop mixed in there for about 5 years. And I love music as well. And it's funny because I see you play piano. I'm all about music as well, man. So I've been doing music for a while, but I never pursued it out of own insecurities, trying to do it. Like, man, it's a crazy game out there. And so when I came back from England, I was like, how can I build a brand that's surrounded by the things I love the most, right? And then that's kind of where the brand came from, was going, all right, I love dance. I love the culture of dance, the family orientated ness of dance, as well as music in that industry and that sort of scene. And so the goal was to build a brand that's surrounded by those two communities, that I could, then develop and dive into, where I could have an excuse to sponsor dance festivals or go there and run events and be a part of it, but not have to be the main guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then same with music. We flew down some artists when I did a show last year, and we flew the artists down, and I can go collaborate with artists and do some cool drops together with artists and stuff. So it kind of gives me that fulfillment that I'm still working in the bubble that I want to be in, without having to be the front runner man. But the brand actually started 1 year and 8 months ago, so we're quite fresh, right in the middle of COVID in 2020, and I was in my head, the idea came out about in 2020. And so I was thinking about different ideas, names for the brand, and literally I stuck to the first idea I had was called, the brand was going to be called 2020.
Oh,
right? Wow. 2020 year of discovery is what I was going to call it, right?
That's cool,
and I thought it was cool because I was you know, it was the biggest year when so many people that I knew were like quitting their jobs, realizing who they wanted to be, what they really truly loved to do. You know, I was like 2020, year of discovery, you know, and then I spoke to a few friends and they were like, you do know like 2020 was the worst year people have probably ever had in our generation. So I was like, okay, I can't work on that.
I was thinking about that. I was like,
yeah. You're like, oh, I see what you're trying to do there. But so, and then it just started evolving. I was designing logos and different things. And I thought, how do I build like a collective group of individuals, you know, that are a community of individuals that are striving to do something and be something. And that's how we locked onto the word collective. And then original came back about, you know, we the collective are the originals, you know, so we the collective group of people are those individuals or, you know, of originals that are striving to do something, to be something, to achieve something, right? And so that's kind of the basis of the brand, but then I wanted it to be focused around that dance and music industry. And that's kind of what's been happening over the last year and 8 months to where we are now.
A year and 8 months.
Yeah. So
wow.
Yeah.
Man, I see you. You move quick. Like, I want to know if anyone, I feel like most other people, if they went through what you went through and, you know, made those decisions so quickly and so early on and had to, you know, live with other people from an early age, move jobs, move countries, they need fuel. So what drove you to keep doing all this? Kept you going? What pushed you?
To be honest, just knowing that there's more out there, man. Like, especially just being in New Zealand. Have you been in New Zealand?
I have.
Quiet, bro. It's beautiful, but it's like snail pace slow. You know, everyone is moving snail pace, you know, and I just knew there was so much out there. And like New Zealand's like 5 years behind Australia, and Australia is like 3 years behind America. And so it's kind of like moving to a bigger city, because where I grew up was a village town of 500 people. So it was like everyone knew everyone, small little village town, right? So population was tiny. Everyone's a bloody fucking farmer, which is your generic, what everyone in Australia says we are. But it was true. It was true. I grew up in a farmer's town.
Right.
But like, there was just so much possibility out there, right? And I learned that through dance, to be honest. Like, dance kind of brought out so much confidence in everyone that I was around that dance, right? Because you're performing and you're showcasing to people, to multiple people. So I knew that there was some talent that I had there. And it was just, how do I take what I know and turn it into something? And so the brand wasn't even a thing for a long time. You know, I was just moving my way up the career in IT. And then, you know, I thought there's something I can do in this industry, and decided to jump in. So
you brought up another topic I want to talk about. You brought up moving away from home and saying the big, you know, fuck you to your parents as you moved on. Would you say making good on your promise would also be what fueled you?
Oh, well, man, for sure. Like, and I think that's the biggest thing nowadays. Me and my parents have the closest relationship, like absolutely closest relationship. And it's just like, because when I was young, because the reason why I was like, fuck you, I know what I'm doing, is because I was 15 and my girlfriend at the time was 20, right? And then I moved in with her and they were all like, don't do it. And I was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm in love, right? You know, I know what's right. I got this, you know. And then when shit hit the fan and it turned out being the wrong sort of situation, I couldn't really be like, well, in my head, I was like, I'm not going to be like, sorry, I fucked up. Until I got older, then I realized, man, I put my parents through some torment, you know, because like, I see like 15-year-old kids now, man, and I was like, no way was I 15, like out of home, living in a car, and like, man, kids look so young nowadays.
It's ridiculous.
And so I'm like, so I understood once I had left New Zealand, like, wow, I actually put my parents through some shit. So, you know, and then we built that relationship again and moved past a lot of things. And now we've just got the utmost respect, you know, completely. Now that I've kind of stepped away, come back, mature, you know, have a bit of head on my shoulders nowadays. So
you should be damn proud of the person you become.
Yeah.
You're a very inspirational person.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And clearly, another thing I noticed about you is that you're quite big, right? You work out clearly a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Right? What's your routine? How do you get up in the morning?
So it's pretty much identical. So I have now just incorporated my girlfriend into training with me now. So like we've changed it up a bit. So it's usually up at 4:40.
Wow.
Up at 4:40 because then I can get to the gym for 5:30.
Every day?
Yeah. Well, no, 4 days a week. And then I have 2 walking days where I just exercise. I used to, man, back in the day, I was going 6 days a week, 2 hours a day.
That's crazy.
And loved it, you know? And that was back when I was obsessed.
It's fun. Like,
oh man, but I've been through some ups and downs with it. But like, so it was, so then 5:30 gym, then I come back from the gym at 6:30. And then I've just got my routine in place where I journal. I do a meditation, and then I journal, and then I read, and then I pack orders, and then I start the day, you know? So like, it's kind of, I get those things in the morning done. and that kind of sets myself up for the day.
Right.
But it does, this new habits have been going for the last, say, 4 months, because before that I read the book Atomic Habits.
I was just thinking James Clear.
Yeah.
I was literally, I knew you were going to say that.
It's changed my life,
yeah,
man.
I agree.
It's changed my
One of the best books I've ever read.
Man,
Yeah.
I remember because I'll be working, then, I'm like it's funny because people always like, how do you keep going? How do you do this? And it's like...
Habits.
Well, no, it's not even that.
No?
It's more like people don't realize how much I am like them. I still can't, I find it hard to not watch movies. I find it hard to not game. You know what I mean? Like, it's like normal addiction. And everyone's like, you're killing it. I was like, you don't realize I have to tuck my Xbox away to try and release that habit.
I put a screwdriver through mine. I used to be such a dork, man. I used to sit there like, what's that one game the Batman games?
Oh, yeah.
I used to, all the time, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Ever since then, you know how many times I want to just drop everything?
I know, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, I still get it. And so, but that book helped so much.
But do you ever miss that kid?
Oh, man, all the time.
You ever miss the kid inside, right?
Man, well, that's the whole point of, like, I don't want to remove those things from my life. So, in terms of, I just have to set boundaries and timings, because I still enjoy a game, right? But then it's just setting a time for that instead of letting that be whenever I get an impulse to play, right? And so it removes that impulse and setting a specific time for when you want to have a jam, which then, to be honest, I work a lot better when I actually have the freedom and fun to do what I want to do, to be who I want to be, so that when I go back to grind day and working, like, I smash it knowing that I'm not just every single day head down going at it. And then you end up getting a bit lost in it because, there's so much information, man. Like, I've been having it recently where, especially with running ads and building brand identity, where there's just every Tom, Dick, and Harry have a new way of doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's hard to you get lost in trying all these new techniques that you sometimes get like fully into 7 different routes, and then you're like, oh my God, it's not working, this is not working, how do I change this? And then, it becomes overwhelming.
And the thing is, running ads is, well, especially on Facebook, it's incredibly simple if you know what you're doing, right? And the only thing really is volume, I feel like. So always having a changing ad, always having something new and fresh is the most important part. But a lot of people, hire agencies and hire into agencies and stuff like that, where they, advertise their clothing product or their jewelry, and they just go, you can run an ad just straight off Shopify. It's with the...
Oh, yeah.
It works.
Do people do that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
it's like boosting a post.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta do it, right? I've been saying this. Yeah, but take it with a grain of salt. But I would love to know. We've already talked about your routine, so I want to know about your strategy for business. So what are your... you've got your personal routine, but I'm guessing you also have a wind up right before you get to work, like right before you sit down. So when you open your computer, right? What do you check your emails first, or do you go in the browser and check your calendar? What do you do?
Usually, first thing is planning out the week. So like on the Monday, and maybe I should move this to a Sunday, but that's something I can look at, is that on a Monday, I plan out the week for like collective original and personal life. We go through, well, we as in me, I go through on the Monday, everything I achieved the week before. Because, man, this has changed my life too, man. You should start doing this. So, like, it's funny when you get so trapped into business.
Reflective journaling, right?
Oh, man. But, like, you don't realize how much stuff you do in a day. And the amount of times I've done so much in the day, but you feel like you've done nothing. Like, and you feel like, fuck, I should have done that, or I could have done this. And then what I've been doing is that each night, writing out everything I achieved for that day. And it's bloody changed my life, because you look at it and you're like,
fucking hell,
I've actually done some shit.
Yeah.
But you always forget about that. Even just little things like you've learned something, you've done this, you've updated that, you've fixed that email flow, you've changed this checkout, but like all those things seem like menial tasks when you're trying to think of the bigger picture. And so looking back on those is life-changing. But so to your question, review what we did last week. So personal, what have I achieved? My personal life, what are things that I could have worked on better or done better? And then into business, like what did I do last week? What are the good things I achieved, and what can I work on and do better this week? And then I just plan out the week of what needs to be done, because there's just so much that needs to be done. It's funny.
Well, I have another question for you. I haven't asked this in a while, actually.
Yeah.
But I think I know the answer already. But if you had a big shiny, once there's more money in the budget, I'm gonna get this. But for now, we're gonna have to stick with imaginary. Yeah. If I was holding a red button, big red button, I said reset on it, and you press it, and you reset back where you don't make the mistakes. You just have a perfect life. Would you press it?
Nah. Well, then how would I guess you wouldn't.
We're talking like
the
easiest life. Like you've got $2 million just lying in the bank, just all of a sudden, and it comes every week.
Oh, mate, bro,
right?
Let me
You know
slap that button.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No, I know. But the thing I'm saying is that I feel like this is a hard question to answer when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people would say that, but I feel like entrepreneurs, and especially people who bring on this podcast, they enjoy the journey. I feel like, personally, if you had that money coming in like that from a young age, you would miss you would miss the opportunity for the grind. You would miss the journey. So as you enjoy that lifestyle for 20, 30 years, you would eventually get sick of it. And I feel like you would start wanting to lose it all and go back to work.
Well, like you definitely would go back to work, but like, see, I would use it to do the same
but
shit.
top level thought is, oh yeah, of course, I want the money. But when you think about it, I feel like you're the other way around.
Yeah. Well, no, see, I feel like I would, because in my mind, I would take the money and you do it exactly what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Try build a business, open up something new,
So you wouldn't become complacent.
Oh, no way. But it's like I'd use it and then see what I can do, put 20% into investing, put this into here and expand the money as much as I could,
That's interesting, actually, now that you said investing. What's your if you had one tip for financial management, money management, for any young
This is not financial advice.
it's not financial advice. But if you had non-financial advice for young entrepreneurs, let's talk about when they get paid from their job. For example, they work in a job and they get paid. What should they do with the money, in your opinion?
So, okay.
20% saving and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Usually I put at the moment is about 40% into investing, and then it's like 10% goes into savings, and then the rest is like usually on bills, and then whatever I get to enjoy for the rest of the
necessities.
Yeah. So just that investing stuff's like, I find fun, whether it's in the stock exchange or whether it's in crypto or whatever's happening. Obviously, I know crypto's a dog word at the moment. But yeah, so I either put it there, and then I always just have a buffer saved for rainy days, and whatever happens, and then Collective Original kind of just saves itself. So I kind of keep my personal and the collective business separate in terms of money.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Would you consider going out and, going on dates or going with friends and stuff? Would you consider that an investment or a spend?
Spend.
Yeah.
Oh, actually depends on the people you're going out with.
Right.
Potentially. Yeah. So
I find that's always a hard differentiation to make.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we're going back to the discipline point, because again, that's a very difficult thing for most people to figure out. We've got your routine. You know what? I want to ask you, what are the 3 biggest tips you have for people trying to get more disciplined? Would you say martial arts? Would you say music? Would you say get into something like start exploring your passion? What would be your 3 tips for someone who needs to get more disciplined?
3 tips. Well, number 1 massively is meditation. I know this sounds corny, but it's been a staple my whole life. So meditation and journaling, those 2. So most people don't, and this is what I've actually noticed when I talked at that seminar not too long ago, was that everyone was pushing this go, just fucking hustle, grind, yada, 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 which I get is a big thing. But when I looked out in that room and I spoke to those people afterwards, I realized how many people were broken internally and how many people, they didn't need to just go. They needed to self-reflect and figure out why they're doing the things they're doing. And that comes through looking internally and understanding yourself internally, right? And being able to look internally and understand why you do what you do, why those things come up, what are they related to, and how can you release them and move forward? Until you do that, you'll repeat the same patterns 24/7, And so that's the biggest change I've ever had, is I've always surrounded myself with a lot older people that are a lot more self-aware because they've lived more years, they've experienced life in a different way, which then makes you self-reflect a lot more on what you could do better, what you could do to change, certain perspectives of your life to become better. And so if you don't have the self-awareness, then the rest doesn't matter.
Well, you can't fix a broken table without, thought, grit, and investment, as you said. So, as you said, all these people are broken. And do you feel sometimes that you get a little bit of an imposter syndrome from people looking up to you?
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Oh, it's actually it's a funny feeling. It's a real funny feeling, because it's like it's literally that thing. Who am I to be like either giving out advice or doing these things when, as I said to you before, I feel like I'm just a normal dude, man. Like I'm struggling to stay focused. I struggle to stay motivated, but like I just try to figure out ways to get around it and to do it, And so then when someone's like, man, that really motivated me, that really inspired me, it's kind of like, that's fucking sick, man. But like at the same time, I do feel that like, but like, fuck, who am I to like give out this advice or help do these sort of things, So
yeah. Well, even going back to that, the imposter syndrome from inspiration. Do you ever feel like you get that imposter syndrome from how well you're doing, or do you you know what? I actually want to ask you another question. Do you feel like you grew up too quickly?
Do I feel like I grew up too quickly? Nah, I don't, man. Like, I had a real good childhood when I was young. Man, this is the thing, like, that I love the most, is that you don't realize how cool your parents are until you meet other parents. You know what I mean? You meet other parents, and then you're like, fuck, man, my mom and dad are cool, man. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No, but I grew up in a real creative family. So, like, and we didn't have much money at all. So, like, my parents were very, what's it called, creative with how had fun, right?
Yeah.
You know, friends had swimming pools and shit. My parents would get like fucking these barrel drums, fill them with water, and we were just like, yes, we've got the biggest pool in the house. You know what I mean? Like, we're just real creative kids. We always sung, we always danced, we always drew. We did art like 24/7. So grew up in that sort of creative environment massively.
A lot more connected than most people.
Yeah.
Actually, I have an idea. Can I borrow your phone? I'll show you today's household. You ready? Hey, Mum, how are you? It's good. It's good to see you. How you been? It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's terrible. Thank you. Cheers. Like, so did you study at university?
No.
But you've been to a university, I'm assuming?
No.
No, never. Okay, well, I'll tell you. Everyone's on their phone. Every single person.
Yeah.
Right? Now, obviously, for a man like you, phone's good because then they might see a collective original ad, they might buy a shirt and everything like that. Do you feel like we've gone the wrong way?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, man. Yeah. It's a real tricky one because it's like, I was saying this actually the other day. I watched this, the Elvis film, right? And
brilliant.
Insane.
Yeah,
I've been listening to Elvis for the last couple of days.
Trouble for like
it's
5
so
days,
good, man.
Yeah.
Heartbreak Hotel?
Yeah.
Bro, but anyway, I was looking at that time in life, right? And I was like, though it looked absolutely so hard, there was the whole segregation and racism was crazy. But I was thinking like, fuck, would that life have been easier? Not easier, but more beautiful because everyone was just a part of a community.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you knew all your neighbors. There was no one outside your world of where you lived. And it was kind of this small knit community that everyone knows everyone. Where I feel nowadays, you've got access to anyone in the world. And so you feel so much smaller because the world is so much bigger now. And so that reminds me when I was a kid. When I was a kid, like you only knew your neighbors and your friends, and that was back when Nokia was just coming out and fucking flip tops and shit, my jam. But now we're in this day and age where like your whole feed is full of people doing things that you think you want to do, you know, and then so it can be a toxic place to be.
Absolutely.
Massively, man. It's like I have to sometimes detox because I'll be smashing life and doing good at my work, and then you look on your phone and you see this 23-year-old talking about how he's making $100,000 a month, and it makes you just go, fuck, everything that you think you've done well is nothing.
But it's addicting as well. Like, there was a phase where I did that for a little bit, and when I did it, I became addicted to it. Like, and then I realized I was like, what the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
And I pulled it back.
Yeah.
And now providing value is much more important, in my opinion. So, I would love to know your principles on social media. So not how it's used, but how you use it specifically. So you already said you have time limits, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Do you use the time limit on your phone, or do you have like a separate app for it?
No. I just literally just have certain time management. And this is funny. It's like I'm still continuously working on it, right? I'm not solid on this at all because the amount of times you get stuck in a TikTok trap and you've only gone on there to do a post, and then you're just like, holy shit.
Conspiracies.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
conspiracies. How did Egypt?
I'm going to Egypt, so man, I don't know.
Bro, exactly. Like all that sort of stuff just messes with you.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, I try to restrict it to certain times where, at the moment especially, I'm using Instagram just to engage with the audience as much as possible, trying to reach new audiences that are based around dance, based around music, and communicate with that audience and build conversation with those audiences. And then TikTok is just a new beast for me at the moment, you know, trying to get
really
our organic content looking better and more natural. And so
there's a few ads I've saved that I'm going to show you afterwards that you can use as well.
Oh, mate. Yeah. I'm in.
Because what I found is that on TikTok especially, you can't have an ad that looks like an ad.
At all. Mate, you can't even have a post that looks like Flash.
Yeah.
Anything that's like sexy 4K, these guys are shitting on it.
It's out.
If it's like someone just with a camera set up.
Yeah, it's like, who does bro think he is?
Yeah. It just performs way better.
Yeah, exactly.
By the looks of it.
Yeah, well, okay. So let's go specifically to business building. So, you know what, let's not go to business building. Let's go to clothing brand building. So you're in clothing and you're in jewelry, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Right, so what's Collective Originals, what's your favorite product at Collective? Or are they all your favorites?
Favorite products would be, I love the rings. I love the cross and chain pendant set. Well, it's actually our best-selling set, but that's like my favorite set when it comes to jewelry. Right. And then on the clothing, one of the zip flannels is my jam at the moment. But we're just getting samples back for new style fit tees and the hoodies that are going to drop in the next 2 months. And so it's just a constant game of always upskilling and changing the craft. Like, you know, we released tees, we like them, we want to alter them and change them. We released hoodies last time, we want to alter and change. Just continue to try to get the best quality gear that we want that suits the fit and the style that we're going for.
Yeah.
And so we're moving the brand in more of a different direction where we are trying to build more brand identity around dance and around music. And so we've done this huge holistic overview of like, what does that look like? What is a dancer? Where do they go? Who are their friends? What do they do?
Profile.
Yeah, legit. And so we're just starting to rechange it again and look and deep dive again who that person is, where do they go, what do they do, so we can align the brand more with that industry or community.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, we'll wrap this up, but I want to ask one or two more questions, just designed to give people advice to work on their businesses right now. So I want to know 3 apps that you use in Collective Original, or 3 software.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Shopify is the first one, that really help you.
3 softwares that really help me. I mean, well, as in help the business grow, or like just
It's up to you.
anything?
Just if you had to think of 3 apps that really help your business, what would they be?
That would be Monster Car Upsell.
Oh, yes.
That's always a jam.
Yeah,
That's always a jam. Though they need to sort out their, what's it called? You can't actually see what they're purchasing, what the upsell actually is. So you can see how many upsells, but you can't see what the product is that they're upselling. So we can't A and B test anything. So sort that out, please. I've already let them know. I've left them multiple messages about it.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, mate, it's cool. We've gotten 20 and 30 upsells this month, but we don't know what the product was. So it's like we can see the revenue, but we don't know. Yeah. So, but still, so an upsell. I've also got a sum tracker. I found this new app. It's called Sum Tracker.
Sum Tracker.
Which is free, but it pulls all the data from your Facebook, your Instagram, your Google ads, and your Shopify store, and gives you your profit and loss and your projected revenue for the month. And so that's a sick way to track all my details with the click of a button. So it's got everything logged in, all the shipping gets calculated, all the data gets pulled from all the advertising into one to show the proper return on investment.
That's cool.
And so, that would be the next. And then last app, to be honest, it's just not really an app, but I'd say just to invest in a good theme. Everyone kind of builds a business based on the free themes.
Yeah. You can tell, you can see it.
You can see it, and there's just not many functionalities on the free themes compared to what you can buy for $400, $500.
Yeah, and half the people leave those little, the how to use ingredients collection, stuff like that.
They
just leave it blank, and it's just like, bruv.
100%. No, but I want to ask you a question actually. Is on advertising, because you've been in the game a while. What do you think when it comes to advertising, things that brands are missing that they could do better?
Customer proof. That's always important. People put their text reviews on their websites, on their social media. They put like, Sam loved our services, blah, 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 he did this, or whatever it is, but they never show the actual results. So I believe customer proof in, for example, a clothing business is UGC, but UGC is oversaturated now.
Yeah.
Because everyone and their mum is using user-generated content to reflect their brand, and it's all fake most of the time. Most of the time, it's just someone, from the brand putting it on and pretending that it's a random customer.
Yeah.
But what brands are missing is actual proof, which is very hard to do. And you can do that through, for example, saying, our clothing is made from this moisture wicking technology. We use this, and then like a factory tour would be good.
Yeah.
So instead of brands, going, it's like if I wanted to meet somebody, I wouldn't go, Sam, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Tom. I do this. This is what I do. This is what I wear. This is what I would be like, hey, Sam, you wanted to know about clothing? Well, this is how I do it, right? So I have this quality control center, right? I have this product line in the factory. They send it here, and then it gets to the customer within 3 days. That's how we do it. How? Not what or why you do, but how you do it. That's how you get customers, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No one does it that way, right? And the companies that do, like Gymshark or Asheville, right? For example, Gymshark, I'll stop rambling on this topic. What Gymshark do that I really like is Ben Francis, who's the owner, has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Ben Francis?
Yeah. I love his stuff,
He's
man.
a G, right? He's
such a humble dude, too.
He's like my biggest role model as well, right? And the thing he does, where I don't know if they did this intentionally with this in mind, but this is why I think a lot of their sales has come from YouTube, I imagine, is because he does a bunch of factory tours, a bunch of HQ tours, and he shows the machines, and he shows the processes, and he shows the fulfillment center. Same with Davey Fogarty, right? The guy who owns Woody?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. He's a G.
His
right?
YouTube is insane too.
Yeah, he does the same thing. They all show how it's done. Sabri Subi. His office is in Kilda, I think, St Kilda.
Yeah.
I actually went and I saw him and he was in a meeting, but I went to say hello and met the team and it was beautiful. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But they show their processes.
Yeah,
They show what they do. That's how you get business.
I
Make
like
sense?
that. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Yeah, well, it's easy. Just whip out a camera.
Whip out a camera.
Yeah.
That's a big thing though that tends to happen, right? Is that you get caught up in ideas of what to do, what to push, what to promote. And so maybe that's the thing that I need to start pushing more, is less trying to get sexy content and more just this raw, organic me at the computer showing you how we make the logo, how we get it sent over to the guys, what it comes back looking like.
Yeah, you have to be about it all the time. Like people that go, people like me, like I'll happily wear my company shirt in the club because I'm not hiding anything. You see what I put online, I don't hide my life. I work extremely hard and then I play hard as well. But work will never outshine, like play will never outshine the work. So you have to always be about it. So if your brand is focused on, not wasting time, no bullshit, not fucking around, which is on my website.
Yeah.
You have to not fuck around and not waste time and not be full of shit. So Collective Original is minimalist to the point, as you said, and you are on time, you're to the point, you dress well, right? And you dress minimalistic, which is important. And, that as long as you rep your brand all the time, then it becomes unanimous and you can always think about it.
True.
Well, anyway, you want to cut it here?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Beautiful. Awesome. I really had a good time.
You too,
Thanks for
bro.
joining us on the fly path.
100%.
And we should do another one of these.
Let's do it, man.
Awesome. All right.
Cheers, bro.
Kick it off. Woo! Done.
Woo!
Done.
Is that good?
Oh, man.